Welcome back to Alien Isolation. In the previous episode we were tasked with picking up the data cell for the access tuner, or the hacking tool, and we'll go and do that. It's somewhere in this area. We picked up the revolver there, and don't let that give you a false sense of security. The revolver is not the best tool for protecting yourself or for intimidating other humans or other enemies. We'll pick up a better, more useful tool later on, or a weapon in fact, later on in the game. Listen carefully. Those bangs and thumps play an important role in allowing you, the player, to identify danger, and you're going to have to hone your sense of listening very carefully and with good judgment in order to evade certain enemies in this game. And you probably want to play with headphones. I use Sennheiser headphones, and I find that you can pick up a lot more detail than I can if I'm playing with speakers. So see that, keep vigilant there, that poster. That's pretty freaky. It's, I don't know, with the eyes and the light coming out the eyes and whatnot, for something such a trivial matter. Keep the lookout for spills or something. So it's suggesting that the working Joes are always looking out and over you. We pick up the smoke bombs there, and they are just used to conceal your movements and actions. If you look above as well, we've got the kanji characters and the Mandarin characters on the door sign, so more semiotic, more language, and then some symbols as well, or signs. So in here we encounter the first horror of this episode. Clearly this guy's been shot a few times. This is a flashbang, and the flashbang is used to distract enemies and other humans and whatnot. Be careful when you're committing resources to building items, because once you've committed you can't reuse them for something else. You've got to proceed and build it in its entirety.
Oh god. The flight recorder.
So this is a moment that Amanda Ripley's been waiting for her whole life. The chance, the opportunity to get to know what happened to her mum, to discover what happened to her mum. And we obviously can see that the flight recorder has been opened. And obviously it's telling us that the data is corrupted. So it's not clear who has messed around. At this point it's not clear who's messed around with the flight recorder. Was it Marshall Waits? Did he recommend that somebody open it, or order somebody to open it, or open it himself and then corrupt the data so nobody else would be able to discover what happened on board the Nostromo? The music and the sound effects, it's got one of these dynamic sound systems in this where different events and sequences can give rise to fast-paced, frenetic music and sound effects like we've got just now, and that's why I started running to hide, because I wasn't sure what had happened there. I think this is the first time our presence and our actions had triggered an alarm like that. So behind those stacks, you just press a button to move those stacks out of the way, and you pick up the data cell, and this gives you level 1 access to different doors and basically doors, and as you progress through the game you'll get level 2 and so on and so forth. And what happens when you hack a door, you use the tool to pick up the correct signal or frequency, and then it gives you symbols, a sequence of symbols, and you've got to pick from 8 symbols, or 3, just now at the beginning in level 1, you have to pick 3 correct symbols from a selection of 8, and it's quite straightforward, even with the time penalty. It only becomes challenging when you're under pressure, really. So next to that guy that was shot, there's another door that we couldn't access. There he is there. And this, I believe this is Marshall Waits' office. And we're going to discover something interesting in here.
Message from Marshall Waits. This is Chief Porter in tech support. Look, there's nothing on this flight.
So there you go, that's quite an important disclosure.
How many corporate confidentiality agreements and come up with this?
So nothing on the flight recorder, and it was Marshall Waits that instructed Chief Porter to, break the rules and
The Nostromo asked its mother core to wipe it clean.
get access to the flight recorder.
Been corrupted before it got here. Care to fill me in on why this was a priority job?
So, like Chief Porter says, why is it a priority job? You know, his request is obviously beguiling and strange. So it suggests that Marshal Waits knows something that we're not aware of at this point, that perhaps he knows more about what happened in the Nostromo, or he's curious, or he's been instructed by Weyland-Yutani. See there, I did a double take. Our synthetics are built, not created. That's a really strange statement. You would surely want people, you know, I don't know, I think it's suggestive of this idea that the working Joes are devoid of spirit, that they've got no connection with the human experience. They're totally soulless and unnatural. That's the impression I get from looking at these kind of posters anyway. But yeah, it's interesting that Marshal Waits would contravene the law to get access to that data before anybody else, and it was obviously important to him. So our presence in the room with the data cell has led to this triggering this alarm, which has brought down shutters and, you know, stops us from being able to progress up to the main foyer, the room that we want to get to, where the 3 people were. And this is our first encounter with an air vent, I think. And air vents are really important. They're useful for hiding from enemies, and they also provide a means of you know, concealed movement into different areas. Sometimes even behind, into areas where you know, doors are locked, so the normal kind of path is blocked, and you'll be able to get into the airlocks or the air vents and make your way forward, basically. And in this terminal, we get some interesting information. This is talking again about the decommissioning and the idea of people stealing things from the station, stealing company property. And this article is important. Julia Jones. Again, this talks about the loss of prosperity, the economic opportunities that space mining and whatnot and space exploration presented, and how they seem to have been wasted by a greedy corporation or greedy corporations. And I think it's building this Julia Jones up to be an ally character. And that's not a spoiler because I've not got that far into the game, but I think that's perhaps what is happening there with Julia Jones. You'll see more communications from her, and she provides a lot of useful background. So we're going to have an important moment here. So this is our first encounter with the Beast, and this is an important moment. This gives definition to our coming interactions with the alien. So what we're doing just now is we're hiding, and the alien is seeking. So from here on out, our interaction with the alien is going to be like a game of hide and seek, and it's a game of cat and mouse. We're the hunted, and the alien is predatory, and, you know, on the lookout for us, I guess. And it's a scripted event, so once the alien goes, once it's made its presence known, it'll, you know, disappear up an air shaft or something. And that's us. We've disabled the alarm now, so we can make our way back up to the main foyer, and we can proceed to hack the door and, you know, make our way to Seegson Communications Tower. And it's interesting because in that foyer we had those 3 humans, and, you know, they were just shoot on sight. They didn't care about who we were. And I think it's the horror genre is one of the best for examining you know, human nature, because it puts people into hyper realistic situations. And let me change subject for a second. The atmosphere in that planet is moving far too quickly, in my opinion. If it was moving that quickly, it would be moving at like supersonic speeds, absolutely massive speeds. If we could see it from this distance moving that quickly. So we come into this room and it triggers another scripted event. And those 3 people that band of survivors are now, you know, up against the alien. And that gives us the opportunity, while the alien's taking care of them, it gives us the opportunity to either scurry from one side of the room to the other, or to set up, to use the systems to like turn off air purification, or set up alarms and whatnot. And I managed to make it over here and look to the left, top left, or kind of middle top left, and you'll see the alien drop down. And I was obviously in a vulnerable position at this point. I didn't have anywhere to go, and you'll see what happens. I was really surprised that the alien didn't detect me there. Not sure why, because we're playing in hard difficulty, and usually if you're out in the open like that and the alien can see you, you're dead. And here I thought I would go over to the other side and create some smoke, you know, disable the air purification system. But I get stabbed in the guts because I wasn't paying attention to where it was, where the alien was. But yeah, I was saying with you know, it gives you this extreme example of egoism in situations like this, where it's, because egoism kind of equates to survival in a sense, and people have retreated, their behaviours retreated or receded to this kind of base level, and you get bands of survivors that are equivalent to the old-fashioned one tribe versus the other tribe, like the apes in 2001 or whatever. Anyway, so I managed to, while the alien's away doing its, you know, where it's patrolling around the room, you can just come down here and hack the door. And I was kind of I felt a bit under pressure here because I was aware, obviously, of the alien being close by, and obviously I was already aware at this point that it can come up behind you and kill you, you know, while you're doing things. So it took me a wee bit longer to crack the code there. Anyway, thanks for watching, and in the next episode, more fun and games.